Okay, so we've been contemplating on the Jivanmukta and especially on the karma and how the Jivanmukta has become free from the cycle of the karma. And in our last session, we looked at the Samadhi talk. And in this session, we're going to be contemplating more on the 3 types of karma. So let us begin. Who would like to speak first?
I'll go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, in this talk, we're talking about the kinds of karma, which is of 3 types: the Agami, Sanchita, and Prarabdha. Agami is the karma which is result of whatever action we do leaves the Agami karma gets generated, and the Prarabdha karma is the one which we take birth with, and the Sanchita karma is the accumulated karma in the bank account. Right? And so to explain this, the Mahabharata story is taken to explain the complexity or the mystery of how this works, karma theory works. Where the king Dhritarashtra asked why he had to go through the horrible life of seeing his 100 children getting killed, right? And for that he's told that in one of the past lives he burnt a tree and killed hundreds of chicks of a bird, right? Seeing which he was cursed that he will go through the same fate. And it doesn't happen right away. That to reach that fate, to face that karma, he has to earn good karma to be a parent of 100 children, right? And that's how he went through multiple lives. And then when all the conditions were met, he takes a life with the prarabdha karma to face what he had. Okay? So here it said that the karma principle is very difficult to understand, which Krishna says in Gita, Gahana karmano gatihi. The truth about the action is profound and difficult to understand. This we'll stop here to see if there is any discussion.
So why don't you please first discuss or answer what is Agami, what is Prarabdha, and what is Sanchita?
Yeah, so Sanchita karma is typically the example used is in the field where they store all the grains that they harvest, right? And Prarabdha is from one side they will take few grains out, right? And with that few karma taken out, the jiva takes a birth to go through that life, right? And as the jiva is living, is again generating more karma, and agami karma, which again goes back to the bank, karma bank, right? Until and the whole purpose of life is to empty this, right? And any what is karma? Any action, be it good or bad, it will lead to karma, right? Any action will lead to karma. If with a good karma, you will have punya, and a bad one you have papa, and like you have to face it, and like it can they need to be faced individually, in the sense one cannot negate the other.
So the distinction between Agami and Sanchita?
So one is past and one is being present, like generated now.
So what is performed already yet to manifest is Agami.
Agami karma, right? Yet to manifest. Yeah. So we can stop that now with the mindset of disinterested action, right? Where when the approach to the action becomes not for self, so not for the self, rather as a duty which is being performed, right? And is given as offering to the God as a bhakta, then like that kind of action will not lead to karma, and rather something has to happen. It results in chitta shuddhi.
Excellent. Okay.
Right, so which is what is the prescription. Yeah.
Hari Om Rupaji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Vijayji. Hari Om everyone.
We are contemplating on talk 76, the 3 types of karma. So Saravanji just now gave an initial brief till here. So he said, Gahana karmano gati. Mysterious are the ways of the karma.
So with this life, the very fact that I've taken this life with the prarabdha means there is still a lot of sanchita karma there. I don't know how much. And the purpose of this journey is to now burn them, so that don't.
Shall we look at 4.17 in detail?
Yeah. Fine. We can go to. Okay. This is.
What is that? I can go to?
No, this may not be in the slide. I don't know. Right? This may be here. If there is one of those 126.
You mean no? We don't have it in the 126.
That's what I realized. Yeah.
That's why I brought up this.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
You want to say this shloka?
Yeah. Karmano hyapi
Karmano hyapi
bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. Karmana, recommended action. He certainly, api, also, bodhavyam, should be known, bodhavyam, must understand, cha, and vikarmana, forbidden action, akarmana, inaction, cha, and bodhavyam, must understand, gahana, profound, karmana, of action, gatihi, the true path. You must understand the nature of all 3: recommended action, wrong action, and inaction. The truth about these is profound and difficult to understand.
So, can you help us with your view on what is recommended and what is wrong and what is inaction?
Yeah. So when we know this when we learn to know, come to know about the karma theory, right? Immediate confusion starts like, if anything I do, if it results in karma, should I stop doing? Will it not result in accumulation of karma? And I think Arjuna also asked this to Krishna, and Krishna says, one should not remain idle, which is not also possible, because to maintain the body itself, one has to do few actions, and actually also what I have realized is the actions are driven by the vasanas in the mind, right? And unless one is very conscious of the thoughts in the mind, you cannot stop it. It's like as we just read, only by like holding the breath, maybe at that time momentarily one can stop the action, but otherwise the actions keep happening. So that is inaction, right? Inaction is not the prescription, and it is also not possible that easily.
1 minute, 1 minute. So you're saying when you hold the breath and the mind is silent, that is inaction?
Yeah, so outside, like you cannot do anything. You're just sitting in one place, holding the breath and not doing anything, just staying there. Though as meditation, one is trying to achieve, one is trying to get the bliss, but that is that alone, or that's right.
Okay, so no, let's get clarity on inaction. What is Krishna?
Okay, yeah. Let me correct it then. Yeah. Inaction is basically tamasic. Just correct. Right, tamasic.
Here, Krishna is saying about be clear about three things,
actions,
kinds of actions. Recommended, then vikarma, which is wrong action, and then there is inaction. So in what context is he talking about inaction here?
My understanding is inaction is not doing anything to stop accumulating karma.
But what does it is like the naishkarmya. See, inaction.
Oh, okay.
Is like the
naishkarmya.
Okay. Yeah, Shubhaji. Yeah.
Jada.
Not jada.
Naishkarmya.
It is when you perform the action without any expectations on the fruits of the action, and with the attitude of I am not the doer. Igna bhava.
But can you come again? Inaction?
Okay, so inaction means what? Inaction essentially means no action to be performed.
Yeah.
So when you examine it deeply, when you have no attachment to the fruits of the action, and when you deeply realize that you are not the doer as a individual self,
okay,
then what is remaining? And the one who is remaining has no action to perform. Is not actually the doer. Self is not the doer in that sense.
Okay. So
I think inaction doesn't. Inaction is not a proper word to describe akarma, I think.
I was confused.
Because when you read inaction, the first thing that comes to you is like sitting idle, doing nothing. Like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now it's I was under the impression inaction is jada. Okay. Now it's clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that is also to be discussed, right, Vijayji? That to stop accumulating karma.
Yes, Rupaji. Yes, Rupaji. Yeah.
Excuse me, Sarananji.
Let
Sorry.
Sarananji complete. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I was about to say is, I believe, can you just move up? And yeah, I believe like here, since we are talking about the karma in this sloka, the not doing part also needs to be discussed to clarify. Not doing is not the prescription to stop getting.
But what is true not doing? What is the correct not doing? Or what is the correct non-doership has to be realized. Action as a sitting idle, correct, is the wrong understanding. So what is the proper understanding of non-doership? Akarta, abhokta. Naham karta, naham bhokta.
Do
Neither
it,
am I
but
the
with the
doer, nor am I
mentality
the enjoyer. However, that's a continuous flow of action. So it is not stoppage of actions. It is naham karta, naham bhokta. There is no claim of ownership. Number one. Then number two, channelizing the action in the recommended action area. So there's a very conscious movement of action in the recommended action path. What is recommended path? For Loka Kalyana. Yeah? Yeah. Rupaji?
Yeah, Vijayji. Actually, I heard the wrong interpretation. That is why I felt what you said about inaction is not right.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
I had heard that, no, maybe what you say is right. But what I heard was inaction is not doing anything, because if we think that we'll accumulate karma, so if we sit idle, that itself is that inaction is also karma only.
Correct.
But I did not know this is naishkarmya also.
Yeah, so that's why our karma has to be understood clearly. See, karma is doing. So doing has an owner. Karma is always with the owner, because there is somebody who is doing. So therefore, the doer always reaps the fruit of the doing. And based on the nature of the doing, it can be a positive fruit or a negative fruit. But it is guaranteed. When there is a doer, a karma, non-doership. What does non-doership means? What does inaction means? Inaction means there is no ownership claim, because who's claiming the ownership? There is one individual entity claiming the ownership. I did it. I am the doer. So that individual ownership, when it is not there, then there is no claim of fruits of the action. So when there is no bhokta and karta, naham karta, naham bhokta. So whatever that happens, then in that is the inaction. Because you are not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You as not a mind and the body. Think of another example. A fridge. It cools. You can say the fridge is cooling. Correct. Now the electricity that is flowing is the one which is actually enabling this to cool. So in one sense, you can say, oh, is the electricity doing the work? Electricity itself is not doing anything.
But
So,
Vijayji, there, electricity is very, without getting involved, it's giving the power. But the logic in the system is what is doing. Similarly, like
The
I'm
logic
just
in the
trying.
system is nothing but the mind and the body impressions. It's an
Mind, right?
instrument.
Here
It's an
also,
instrument.
yeah, same here also, right?
Yeah,
So Atma is only power in the body and mind.
yeah.
But can I say that body and mind is still doing it?
Correct. Prakritehe
once-
kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashaha. What is mind and body? Mind and body is nothing but a constitution of Prakriti. The three gunas. Depending upon the three gunas, the mind and body will function based on the impressions. So to correct these impressions is why we do Atma Vichara. So the impressions in the Chitta are constantly getting refined. As you involve yourself in the Seva and as you contemplate on the higher truths, the impressions are getting clearer and clearer and clearer. So naturally there is a action that also starts reflecting the action of the higher self, I mean evolved ones. But during the sadhana, there is still a doer. There is still a doer. So in the Sadguru, there is no doer. But it is a recommended action. When you are in the path of sadhana, it's a recommended action. Okay, I am attending satsanga. I am listening to Prabhuji's talks. I am involved in teaching others. So there is still a, with what attitude of the I the statement is coming, there is an entity. There is an entity, I. But now that entity is involved in Chitta Shuddhi. So as the Chitta Shuddhi deepens, that entity's identity also merges. Because that entity is also a false entity, is a appearing and disappearing entity. So the ego, which used to think I am the body and the mind, has now started aligning with Ishvara. And then there is, when that alignment is complete, then there is no more that individual ego entity. Because there has never been one. Is that bringing clarity, Sarananji, to the question that you had?
Yeah, it's just that like in the transactional plane, we still like I will still say that I did it and I face the consequence as here as the body mind.
You say that, but it depends upon with what inner clarity that statement is coming. So to who are you saying, first of all?
Yeah, that's what in the transactional plane.
Yeah,
let's say that a work got done through me.
Yeah, and somebody comes and scolds you.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that that you do next?
Yeah, so basically, this body is seen as the one who did it, and this body faces the consequence.
When you say this body, which body?
The body through which the work got done.
But that body is long dead and gone.
So that
you went and
that way it is. It can become a wrong statement,
isn't it? It's a statement of falsehood.
Yeah.
So this body faces consequence. So then that body cannot be a gross body. So where is that body being referred? In the mind. There's a form that is still very solid in the mind. So that Sukshma Sharira is what causes the repetitive birth and death. Because the Sukshma Sharira is where that impression is deeply held. It is held as a deep conditioning, as a deep belief. So at a Ishvara level, it is the sum total of all karmas. So as a Ishvara, then every wrong action, every positive action is an impact at a Ishvara level.
No, I didn't get. What are you trying to say?
At a whole level, at a Ishvara.
It is.
See, now you are thinking of yourself as this body, then this body will face the consequences. Now, which body, I asked? Okay, so this body is constantly changing. Then which body? Who's facing the consequences then? There's an entity in the mind, deeply held belief. That entity is the one which is continuing the idea that, I am an individual, so I will face the consequences.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, look at it as, let's say, boss of a whole company. When you say, I took a decision and the whole company has to face the consequences. Depending upon the decision that you took, the whole company, all the people and everybody in that company will have to face certain consequences, some outcome, right? So it is impacting everybody. So, but the decision was taken as one. So it is incorrect to say, then, I have nothing to do with what happened to the others. As a boss, therefore, you are accountable for the sum total.
Yes.
And everybody involved in that situation, in order to bring their own karmic manifestation of their own karmic impressions. So at that level, at a boss level, as a mini Ishvara, your decisions affected the whole. So the attitude with which, the notion with which, you are taking decisions is what perpetuates the cycle of karma. Yeah. So go ahead. Where is the lack of clarity? What is the question that is in your mind?
Yeah, it's just this is something which I go back and forth. Is it something happening through me and I'm not doing versus
so that
I consciously did it.
I is the
ego.
Right.
Yeah.
So the one when I see right now, you are making a statement. Okay. So now, who is making the statement? I did the statement. I made the statement. Okay. So who is this I? Is the fundamental question, because there must be some I who made the statement. So making the statement is clear. It can be seen. It manifested as sound. Now, who is this I? Who is this I who's claiming that I made the statement?
It's a ego part of the mind.
Ego part of the mind. What do you mean by ego part of the mind? Is it a solid real entity? Is it solid and is it real?
It's a thought that runs all the time.
It's a
the single thought that is
notion,
there
right?
all the time.
So that is why we just now saw in Ramana Gita that when you examine the root of the mind, which is nothing but the notion of the I, when you examine who's this I, that I shamed and vanishes, Ramana says. Meaning what? It has never been there. Who is this I that I keep referring to? If I talk about it as a body standpoint, we just now saw which body. The moment you put that question, the idea collapses that, as a body that I did it. Because that body that did, it changes, has changed already. So you cannot be referring to the Sthula Sharira. Then Sukshma. What is Sukshma? Nothing but a thought. Is that thought even a reality?
No.
So there is a projection at a point of time, and that projection is given its own independence artificially. Why? Because of the ajnana, because of the wrong or the false understanding of life. So the only thing that needs to be corrected is this false understanding. In order to answer the question, yes, artificial entity came up. Who answered? The husband, Saravanan answered. The boss, Saravanan answered. The employee, Saravanan answered. Perfectly fine. Because in that moment, that entity has to come up, and based on the nature of the role, that entity has to answer. But is the husband, Saravanan, true? So the definition of true is something that is permanent.
Permanent. Yeah.
Is the boss, Saravanan, true?
It's a temporary state.
Correct. So therefore, the actions are happening through these entities that are coming and going. Now, which of these roles is claiming the ownership? One of them will claim the ownership. No. It's the boss, Saravanan, who gets hurt. It's the husband, Saravanan, who feels sad. So it is these projections which claim the ownership, which come and claim that, I did it. And I am so hurt. I did so many things, but now see what happened. So where are these entities? Are they real? That's the question that Tattva Bodha raises again and again. So yes, while transacting, that entity is there. When you see the entity as a transactional entity, then you, the real self, you have no attachment to the transactional entity. Because you are not the transactional entity that is coming and going. You are not husband Saravanan, you are not boss Saravanan, you are not any of those role Saravanans. So that energy has appeared and disappeared. Even the very idea of boss Saravanan is not a fixed idea, but there is a concreteness given to that idea.
But at that moment, can't I say that it is real without
In
thinking
that
about
moment,
the
it
past?
is real, but it is not a permanent reality. Experience is real, correct? Real means what?
Yeah. Experience part.
Yeah, it's happening. But is it permanent? What aspect of husband Saravanan has been permanent? Husband Saravanan is constantly getting beaten by wife of Saravanan, and husband Saravanan is constantly changing. Because that is what marriage is all about, no? Husband Saravanan has to be fixed.
No, but this part, still it has not completely sunken the concept. Like sometimes, like let's say for example, now Russia as an entity started troubling Ukraine. Is it supposed to happen that it's happening, and it's just that Putin happened to be the medium through which it's happening, or like we say that like he as the individual with that body mind is making the mistake.
Now, which Putin are you talking about? I mean,
The
when you examine through the lens of Tattva Bodha, which Putin are you talking about? See, the body of Putin is constantly changing.
yeah.
Okay.
So it is.
So there's a sense of Putin in your mind, who is taking actions, who's deciding things, who is powering all these decisions. Ultimately, Putin decides in you.
Yeah, that is the other side. Yeah, which makes me think that like there is no one outside me, everyone is in me, and it's just a drama going in
So
me.
that energy form, when it appears, what are you perpetuating? Are you perpetuating war? So then the war will continue.
Sir, my question is also related something to what Saravanji is bringing up right now.
Yeah.
So may I continue with
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Yeah. So the video that I was referring to with you is the one where my will and God's will. That's the video I was referring to.
Okay.
So in which like there is a discussion about, is there really my will? I think I have brought up this question before, and and last week also, last week or last to last week, I think Sanwanji also touched on this when I again brought this thing up, that everything seems to be, and Guruji also says that everything is God's will only, right? And God's will actually is for the jiva to evolve. So it's God's will only. And when we attach or we identify ourselves with that decision, we think that we are doing it. Is how Guruji explains in that video. You may correct it if my understanding is not right. So if that is the case, then where does my thought even come into play is what I was thinking, because somewhere we also think that my thoughts make up my world, right? That is also one way to look at it. And then when Guruji is explaining that everything is God's will only, and in the presence of the consciousness, the Prakriti is the one that is functioning, and only when we identify it becomes, we think that it is our will, but actually it's God's will. Then why does that statement even is relevant, that my thoughts become my world, or
Okay.
I am the world itself? Where does that
here,
come?
first of all, there is a I as a separate entity going about doing things, right? Now, where is this I? Where is this separate I? So let's go back to the model of the mind. So this I is the one which is claiming that I did it. I am thinking, correct? Now, where is this I? And this
in
I,
my mind.
So what is
It's
the
a
form?
thought. It's a thought.
What is the form of this I? Is it a solid? Is it not changing? Is it a permanent reality? The wife Padma, is it really a permanent reality? The wife, the notion of wife Padma is
Hmm.
something that is constantly getting also modified.
Correct.
But there
Changing.
is a sense of investment in the identity called wife.
Hmm.
So it has become a solid entity. So therefore, this solid entity, it has to be told to settle down. This
No,
solid
that's
entity,
okay, sir. There is a strong identification that I
Yeah.
understand.
yeah,
It's not only with the role of wife, but it's also for other things.
yeah,
Whether it's the role of a mother, it's the role of a daughter. So obviously, whatever is happening to the person that I'm identifying it affects me to a large extent because I associating with whatever is happening in that place. That all I understand. What I am not understanding is, if everything is God's will, then isn't that attachment or whatever also God's will? Because he's when Guruji says that God's will is for the Jiva to evolve into what? Jiva to evolve into realizing that I am not separate from the Paramatma, right? That's the only truly God's will, right?
So then there is no more question that would remain, no? If it is truly accepted as a realization, and if it's true realization, then this question disappears, no? Who is the questioner here?
Then that statement that my world is made up of my thoughts or my thoughts define my world, it is for the false I. It's not.
Correct. Because the teaching is for who? Who has to evolve? Does God have to evolve?
No.
No. But who is suffering? There is a false I which is suffering. There's a false I which creates a notion of suffering. So then
What is there for the Jiva also to evolve? Jiva is again
who is Jiva
ansh
here?
of Paramatma only, no?
So then who is Jiva here? So there is a strong false I which has come and started claiming, I'm a Jiva. So that Jiva is constantly pursuing, I'm suffering, now I have to evolve.
Okay. So
Very-
that statement is also from a Jiva perspective that Guruji is saying.
all the teaching is for the Jiva only. All the teaching is for the ego only. The Atma Jnana is being given. Why should the realized, or why would God need Atma Jnana? God doesn't need Atma Jnana.
Hmm.
God is
Yeah.
the embodiment of Atma Jnana. So then to who the Atma Jnana is being given? To this entity, the me entity. And the me entity itself is a false entity. But in the beginning, it has become so solid that it is a real and established entity.
Hmm.
So as the teaching goes, why this entity itself has become permanent or feels permanent? Because of the impressions in the chitta. Information written in the dictionary. The information written in the dictionary, it says page number 21 to page number 23 is my world. That is what this is claiming. And Atma Jnana, step by step, is removing the notion that your world is not just this. It is based on what you've written here. What is written here can be modified. Instead of looking at page number, whatever, say 7 to 9, why don't you turn to page number 12, see what is happening there. So slowly, the world is getting expanded. The dictionary is no more 1 to 5 pages. The dictionary has become now such a big dictionary. So the world is getting expanded. And as the world is getting expanded, then whose world is this expanded dictionary? Then the little me realizes, oh, so I thought only 1 to 5 is my ownership. Now this is so many other things are there. How I could be claiming the ownership? So through vichara, the I realizes this entity is just a projection. So when this entity disappears, what remains? When I am when I am absent, God only is present. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah. Shantim nirvana paramam mat sanstha adhigacchati. So as you do the Atma Vichara, as you start seeing your higher self, what does it mean to see your higher self? I am these two is the thought process. But as you do the Nishkama Karma, as you do the Seva, this part of the mind, which is claiming ownership, the me, settles down to a certain extent. And in that mind, as you do the meditation, as you practice meditation, coupled with jnana, the mind is like this water. And in that water, you start seeing the reflection of your true self. And you've never been anything else. So is this statement. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. So through the right logic, the questioner has to be made silent. Through the right seva, the mind is brought to the ability to sit and contemplate. So the one who's asking the question has no permanent reality. But it claims reality. That my world is to begin the expansion of that. See, you have the power to shift to another page. That entity has to be given that. Otherwise, that entity will get stuck. Oh, it all is all pre-written. This is all the dictionary is. Nothing more can be modified in the dictionary. That is not the reality. Because God's nature is constant evolution. In the manifestation, the God has so much of creativity that no two moments are alike. When it is said you are an amsha of that, it means that you have the same power to shift the page and to see. That is what just now Saravananji said in this shloka. That is, what is the right action? What is the forbidden action? What is inaction? Right action is, as long as this entity is there, the right action for this entity is to be involved in the seva, to be involved in Atma Vichara. When this entity dissolves, then what is there? God only is there. But right now, what is this entity responsible for? Responsible for seva, satsanga, shravana, manana, nididhyasa. Does this bring clarity to Padmaji's query?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll go through that video also once more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the belief system is deeply held And the belief system takes time to get examined and to be uprooted.
Yeah.
Anything else, Saranji, on this from your side?
Yeah. So just to summarize, I will also use that not doing tamasic is to be avoided.
Yeah.
Because everyone is born with a dharma, right? And like one has to do, follow their dharma and do. But the recommended action here is ensure that I would say, so follow your dharma and do Atma Vichara and service to the society. Okay. So that's how at least I'm taking the message as the recommended action.
Correct.
And anything outside these three is the not recommended, not to be done. It's like staying within this track.
Whatever action, if done on you, can hurt you, simply is to be avoided action.
And the attitude is to approach the action is that it is happening through this body, and I'm not the doer.
I have a question now.
Yeah.
When you say, sir also said this, when you say that action that is not harming you, again, isn't that coming from our condition of what we believe can harm us?
Correct. See, at any point of time, you can only act based on the visibility that you have to your dictionary.
Yes.
So in that given moment, you do the best that is possible. As a mother, maybe today you may regret something that you did, say, some 15 years back. Maybe, if I had this wisdom of today's wisdom,
this clarity,
I may not have done it. Could be one thought. But is there any value in that thought? No. The only value in that thought is it happened. It happened. At that point in time, with that amount of whatever the clarity that you had, you acted. In this given moment, you are doing certain things. You're involved in certain things. Is this the full? Maybe, maybe not. So why judge the past? So become aware that the consequence of the action, what it has brought, and see whether that is what you wanted and whether that needs to be modified. So that much is the visible free will. So exercise that power. Yeah. So anything more to say, Sarvanji?
Yeah, I guess that's that should be it here.
Yeah.
Should I continue to the next section?
Let's see anyone else wants to share their view on what has been discussed so far. Shubhaji, Rupaji, or even Padmaji.
I had one question.
Yes, Shubhaji.
It's a general question on karma.
Yeah.
They say no. What we do, our kids either get the benefit of our karma or get the bad karma, right?
Mhm.
So, as far as my knowledge goes, they say the jnani's karma gets distributed.
Yeah,
So the same way, does the jivi's karma also get distributed?
it is, no. Only thing is, it is happening in the ajnana that, my family is my biological family. So therefore, it seems to be going only to them. But if you slightly think in a larger context, taking the example of, say, you as the member of this society, let's say you start throwing the dustbin or the whatever the dust outside of your window, it is going to affect everybody. The thing is, whatever you do has a universal consequence always, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So it's the same for both.
It's the same for both.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever is the limited the prism or the window through which you see,
Mm.
in that prism, it is happening.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, in my family, okay. So my father did something good. So my today's life is because of that.
Mm.
Yeah, it is correct. It is
Mm.
correct.
It's
So
correct. Okay.
this manifestation is brought because of that right actions. Everything is like that, right?
So we always hear that statement. So I was just thinking that does that really happen that way? Because they also say that my karma goes with me. So how is that your either when I say my karma goes with me, it is also contradictory that I have to suffer my karma or I have to
Again, who is this I who has to suffer?
yeah. Yes.
Right. So as long as that I who wants to suffer continues, the I will carry that dictionary. Okay. So the I, therefore, now look at it this way. So Mahabharata war happened. 100 children of Dhritarashtra died. So Sri Krishna explained to him saying that you were a hunter many lifetime backs and you killed 100 birds. So you had to suffer. Okay, fine. Let's assume Dhritarashtra accepted that explanation. But what about Duryodhana then? So Duryodhana was born only to suffer for his father's action. So it is like, that's why the seed of the karma, when a fruit comes, it has many seeds. And each seed carries certain information from the original fruit. And depending upon the situation in which it becomes some other transformed entity. So the seeds of action, therefore, are infinite. They keep on yielding fruit after fruit after fruit after fruit. Which fruit am I claiming ownership as Duryodhana? Which fruit am I claiming ownership as Dhritarashtra? So therefore, that fruit, if you say that, that farm of Duryodhana suffered, then the only explanation is, okay, that is another GV. So therefore, the false understanding that there are multiple GVs. Where are these multiple GVs occurring? Where are they occurring truly? In your consciousness.
Yeah, nothing but my thoughts.
Nothing but your thoughts. So therefore,
Sir, in this,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but sir, in this context, when we say that, or when Guruji says that Jnani's karmas will get distributed, and good karmas goes to his disciples, and bad karmas goes to those who trouble him. It's also true that for a jnani, it doesn't matter, right? He will not be getting affected by those things. Whereas,
again the jnani is giving an answer to a question, and the questioner is still real. The questioner is still real. questioner thinks I'm still real. So therefore,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
questioner,
No,
build
what
the
I'm
faith.
trying to say is when Shubhaji says, Shubhaji's question, I also got that into the picture. So what I'm saying is, when you said for Shubhaji also, yes, your karmas also get distributed, but we will be worried and we will be attached to who it is going, right? A jnani will not have that, is what I am saying. Like whether the that explanation that he's giving, that good karmas go to disciple, is again from a GV standpoint only, right? A jnani will not worry about those things.
There is no other for jnani.
Yeah, that's what. So
Yes,
it is not like good, bad, and to whom disciple troubling me, all this also doesn't matter. It's again from the GV point only, right? Because for a jnani, there is no good and bad, right?
No, there is right and incorrect. It is not about, however, a judgment. So from the jnani standpoint, see, the idea that the question is coming from is, there is a world outside of me. And there is something that I am doing, and I'm changing this world constantly. And based on how I change, a certain impact happened to me. That's the model through which the question is coming fundamentally. So there is a me
Correct. Yeah.
who's standing separate from the rest and thinking that I am doing something. Okay, I take a hammer and I beat and it breaks. So, and depending upon whose table it is, the owner may come and thrash me. So there is a separation. Whereas there is no separatedness for a jnani. There is no other for a jnani. So when the jnani says his karmas also get distributed, what is that? Look at it a little more deeply. The followers get the benefit of my good actions. What is the benefit of his good actions? Is the right clarity. The right clarity, who can listen to his right clarity? Only who follow him, isn't it? Natural. Because, they are disciples, so therefore they listen. And when they listen, Shravana, and when they contemplate Manana, they also merge. So good actions are nothing but the clarity that the jnani brings. The Sadguru's voice, therefore, is mantra. Because his voice is not coming out of personhood. His voice is not personhood. His voice is the voice of the divine. So therefore, those who hate or trouble him means what? They are troubling him because they don't want to listen. They are not aligned with the jnani's way of the world. So of course they will not adopt. So their ajnana will perpetuate. And when their ajnana is perpetuated, whatever is done with the I am a body and mind feeling will perpetuate the cycle of karma. So in the case of a hater, or the one who despises jnani, or one who is not aligned with jnani, they are perpetuating the feeling that I am a body and mind. Is that bringing clarity to what Padmaji is saying?
Yeah.
So for the jnani, there is no other. So this statement that it gets distributed is to show the pointer to realize the truth. It is not that jnani has a favoritism. Jnani wants, so in the war of Mahabharata, it is not that Krishna disliked Duryodhana, hated Duryodhana. It is not out of hatred. Because that is a path of evolution for that entity. And that is why it is Gahana Karmano Gatihi, mysterious. See, this very discussion on karma has been going on for because all of
Definitely.
discussion happens in the realm of karma only.
Yeah, it is mysterious.
It is mysterious. Rupaji, anything you would like to add?
No, sir, Ramji. Sorry, no, Vijayji.
So what is the view you have about this talk, and so far what is your clarity?
Mm. I understood the talk, but I am not able to put it in my own words.
Okay. Please see how to put it in your own way. It is very important that you put it in your own way.
Okay.
It's only by saying it in your own way. As you are saying, you will see.
Mm.
Because ultimately it is you who has to see. You have to see. Who has to see the contradiction in your own statements, or the contradictions that arise as you're making that statement. So therefore, it is not at all a test of your knowledge. It is manana kriya is a process by itself. Is a process to resolve the knots in the chitta, because it is these knots, granthi, which essentially block you from your own reality. And the way to resolve those knots is by consciously stating it. And as you're consciously stating it, you'll be seeing, because ultimately when you're speaking, you're seeing pictures, you're connecting it to your life. So therefore, at that point in time, all those things get connected. Yeah. So please, once again, you can look into the video. We are not at all here to who is the one who's giving the clever answer, or who is the one who's giving the right answer here. It's for each one of us to say, and as it is being said, for the others to see whether there is clarity in that or not, and how we are helping each other, we are holding each other.
When I listen to the talk, everything will be clear. But when this contemplation happens, it goes in some other direction only, which I have not imagined. And I have the problem of remembering things. So I go blank sometimes. That's
So
why I speak less.
therefore, it is not about remembering. See, that's why the struggle happens. When I want to remember, and so for example, shloka number 12th chapter, 5th shloka. Say me the first word. My God, it is so difficult, right? So it is not about remembering. It is about who you are. So if I ask you, what are you, let's say, planning to cook today morning? It's something that you're doing. You have already planned. You can very easily answer. Tell me yesterday, how was it being a mother? It's an experience of life. you're not saying something out of memory. It just naturally flows. So there is no inhibition. It is who you are. So therefore, when you are listening to the talks, of course, it is deeply transforming. But when you are saying it out loud, you have to say with whatever the clarity that is there at that point in time. At any point of time, you can only say it with the clarity that you have. So therefore, never worry about, okay, do I remember it exactly as Guruji said? That if you see our discussion, that's why we are going on. There are so many things that Guruji hasn't specifically spoken. But we go and then we come back to that. So what he has spoken is the truth. But it is for you to see, for me to see, for each one of us to see, how is that a truth in the way I see life. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma is a statement of realization. It's a statement of realization. So, how is it relevant for me at this point of time? What does it even mean to me? That's the ultimate reality of life. But what does it mean? I talk to my neighbor and he or she speaks in a certain way, and then I still feel that tension or worry. How can such a being be divine? So then that is the way from where I need to look at life.
Okay, I'll try, Vijayji.
Yeah.
Shubhaji spoke about the karma getting distributed among the family members, like the karma of the jnani that gets distributed among his followers and the people who help him in his spiritual progress. And it was answered as, yes, it will get distributed. And Padmaji's question was about it was about the
Yeah, we can see. Very good. See, when the question is itself difficult to remember, which means that there are multiple parts to the question. So which means, we can always ask, so Padmaji, can you please state what is the question that you raised?
So, Rupaji, my question was, Shubhaji said that just like a jnani, our karma is also good karma or bad karma. Does it get distributed? And she was having a contradiction between what she said and the thing that we go with our karma. There is also another statement like that. So these two are contradictory. So in relation to that, what my question was that there is a difference in how a jnani will think about how his karmas are getting distributed and how we might think. Like, for example, a jnani might not worry about good and bad and who is getting the good, who is getting the bad. Whereas for us, we will be worried, right? We will be worried that our good karma should go to our children. Like that, we will be worried. Or if I'm doing a right, even before an action, if I'm going from that aspect, I will worry whether what I'm doing is right. If what I'm doing is not right, will my children get my bad karma? We are not worried about bad karma going to other people, okay? If it is coming to anyone else here also, I may not be so worried or attached. because my attachment is with my kids. So I'm always worried that my karma should be good and that good karma should go only to my children. Because I'm not a jnani, right? I will not think that Rupaji should get my good karma or Saravananji should get my good karma. I will only think that Aditya should get my good karma. So my question, I brought in that point. Like for a jnani, it is not like that. Jnani will not worry. Prabhuji will not worry even if all the good karmas go to me, right? Because he sees everyone as one. That was my thing. I hope, I mean, I was clear in conveying what my question was. So
Yeah,
that is what I stated, for which sir replied.
yeah, it was answered as the jnani will not have the ego, whereas others will have, and it does. That is why it doesn't matter to him to whom his karmas are going to.
Also, I think
very
sir
much like when you eat food, no? When you eat food, you're not worried whether it is this finger that is getting the nourishment or this finger or this feet. It's a whole. Yeah, please continue, Rupaji.
Yeah, that's all, Vijayji.
Okay, all right. So you can do one approach, Rupaji. So for example, let's continue with the 76 only next session also. Listen to it, and as you're listening to it, see if you can break it into. Okay, see, the whole talk has so many sections, right? Even within this sub talk 76, can you phrase a particular question for each of the section? So for example, the first part of the question, what is it answering? What are the three types of karma? Okay, what are the three types of karma is what Guruji discusses first. Okay, then what is, why does he say the karma or the nature of the karma is very mysterious? So like that, frame questions as you are listening within that itself, and see whether that small question, and the question should be very clear to you as you frame the question. What are the three types of karmas? See, very simple question. Why is karma mysterious? So then the sharpness of the question will help you to dig deeper. When we're discussing, what happens is, we connect so many things, and in that we are trying to explain something, and then the question appears, but the question is still not very sharply focused. And that's the beauty of Ramana's simple question: who am I? Simple three words: who am I? In all situations, who am I? So a sharply focused question brings the right clarity.
Actually, when I'm listening to the talk, everything seems very clear, Vijayji. I also write the notes for that, for everything. And I have split the questions also into paragraphs. I have written the question and I've written the answer for that also. But
then just narrate that. Okay, this is when I saw this is the first question that that Guruji is answering. So narrate that itself.
Okay, I thought I'm supposed to speak about what others spoke here. So I don't remember what the question was and how it was. Yeah, I understood at that point of time. But now when I'm asked to, I don't remember anything. Maybe I have to write those things down so that I could tell at that point.
One suggestion I have, Rupaji, like initially I also do like what you say, whatever Guruji's talk was, I would just rewrite or copy, just exactly copy what he would say sometimes, because you don't know much about it and you don't know how to put it across. Okay. But then afterwards, I think I got that idea from Vijay sir only, where he will only note down the questions what we are bringing up. So you can also do that. Instead of noting everything down, you can just write what others are questioning or what the questions are, and then maybe after the class you just think on in those questions and come up with what is your answer to that, and then listen to the talk again and say, see, like is your understanding correct, or do you want to bring up one another question because you didn't understand that aspect of the question itself, like why somebody brought that question, how what did they think to come up with that question, something like that you can come up with. That will be easier, because the whole idea is what is our understanding of a topic, not what Sarvananji thinks or what Vijay sir thinks or what Shubhaji thinks.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
ultimately, it has to become your own. It is the truth is one, but it has to reflect in your own way.
Okay.
So the manana is not repetition of what Guruji said. Manana is actually realization of the pointer given by Guruji, but now it is Rupaji's realization. Truth is one, but the known say it in many different ways. And you see, you when I ask you to talk about yesterday's dinner, you have nothing to remember. You will, as you are saying, you can flow, because you know all the parts of it. So you connect them. And if some part is missed out in one statement earlier, you later on bring it, because it's not a matter of remembering and repeating. It's a matter of realization, expression of the realization.
Okay, Vijay, I'll try next time.
Definitely. Yeah.
Or
And
one thing I have
yeah.
noticed is that I try to relate this topic with things that are in our life. So that's how my understanding gets better. Probably we can understand as an example, okay, this is happening to me, this is the karma, this particular incident. So that makes it easier to understand.
Correct.
Even our everyday life.
No, because this is everyday life.
Yeah.
Whatever we are studying is everyday life. This is the reality, and that's the beauty of Upanishad. That it uses everyday life, but look at the understanding it brings from the everyday life.
Probably it's the good Sanchita karma that is helping us come to this satsang.
And you will be astonished. The other day, someone was speaking to me, and they are monitoring our AVSC talks. Monitoring as in they are quite interested in our group's discussion. And I was told that the way Padmaji speaks, the way sometimes they hear, so they were able to even name the names and say that it all is helping me. So we think that we are just sitting here and recording, and it is, of course, it is for our benefit. But see, that's the beauty of the flower, right? The smell of the flower, you don't know who it affects. So each one of your way of looking and saying is very, very precious, very, very important. If everyone had to only hear Prabhuji, Prabhuji would have said, okay, let everybody hear my voice. So the very idea of this manana is that is the truth, and that is the truth for you also, for him also, for anybody also. But it has to be said in your own way, through your own life, and it has to become a transformative power. All right. So we will end our today's contemplation with the prayers. Padmaji?
Yeah, yes, sir. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from untruth to truth, darkness to light, impermanence to permanence. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that is complete. This is complete. When completeness is removed from completeness, what remains is complete. When completeness is added to completeness, totality remains complete. Om, peace, peace, peace. Nanu, nanenbadu, nanalla, ideha, manabuddhi, nanalla, Sachidanandatma, Shivananu Nane, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am pure consciousness, Shiva Swarupi. Atmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Satyadarshanam. Recognition of self is recognition of the whole. Recognition of the whole is the truth.
See, all these are statements of realization. But you know, when we are living life, the vasanas in the mind appear and they become various kinds of false reality. So why the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa is a repetition is till that is clear, till this entity is perpetuating, it is needed. So therefore, it is not an ordinary practice.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्. We worship the three-eyed one who is fragrant and who nourishes all. Like the fruit falls off from the bondage of the stem, may we be liberated from death, from mortality. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat.